Hey, today we're going to talk about a brand new secret mission following the recent Dark Fluid incident. We'll also address the claims that the newest Emancipator mech was pre-nerfed. We'll go over the proof and discuss other topics as well, including why the update did not arrive today. If you enjoyed the video or find it informative, please consider giving it a thumbs up by tapping the like button below the video. Let's begin by talking about the brand new mission that was revealed, then quickly was hidden by the developers. Now, I did not catch this at first, but someone else did, and this user right here named Aiden over at Reddit Helldivers Leaks. Right here you can see his post and it says, Dark Fluid mission for Meridia. Got this when I first logged on to Helldivers. Then what you can see right here is the mission. It says Operation Deploy Dark Fluid. Inject dark fluid beneath the super colony's crust to destroy it once and for all. If you head over towards Meridia, you will find out that this is unavailable and you cannot land there, nor can you find a mission. So yeah, it's no longer available, but this is coming to us very soon. So with that image to the side, let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. What you can't see right here is it says deploy the super colony, call down the dark fluid vessel and insert it at each of the payload sites to help destroy the planet. Directly below this, as you can tell, it does look like the map size is very similar to the Eradicate missions or possibly even the Evacuation missions, which are very small or at least decently small, right? With this one, it does look like it's going to take around 40 minutes to complete, so it's not the same in terms of lengthwise, but in terms of map size, it does look like it's decently small, which is not a big deal, by the way. Next, we do have a bit more of a description here for the Operation Deploy Dark Fluid. Underneath this, it says, we must seize the opportunity to destroy the Terminus super colony. Helldivers all across the planet will deploy with a limited supply of exotic matter known as dark fluid and insert it at the critical points in the planet's crust. Once critical mass is reached, the planet will collapse into a black hole, destroying the threat to liberty once and for all. Well, apparently at some point we will be destroying the Meridia planet, but we will be doing it with a freaking black hole, which I'm sure some of you are not shocked about this, especially if you have read into some of the leaks in the past. Now, I do want to say something here. Remember that this right here, this information here is not a leak, even though it does come from Helldivers 2 leaks. This information was available in-game for a brief moment until the developers decided to remove it. With that to the side, continuing on with the next image here, it says, you will deploy to the surface of the super colony in the vicinity of former TCS nodes, where the crust has been weakened. Once on the surface, call down the dark fluid vessel and deliver it to each payload site. The super colony is like nothing you have deployed to before. Expect extreme resistance. All of the super Earth is counting on you. This mission seems like it's going to be very intense with a lot of bugs because, as they have mentioned, heavy resistance does sound like there's going to be quite a lot. Now with that, what do you think about the mission? The map size, the overall idea of blowing up a planet? What do you think? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Next, what we have here is a structure in the background with the combination of the top left, which is up, left, right, down, up, up. This right here will summon down the dark fluid vessel. The vessel itself does take around apparently 9 seconds to arrive. And when it comes down to it, what is it? Well, apparently it's similar to the SSD. This Reddit user named Scarif_Citadel had this to say. You call a probe down, not unlike the geological probe, and load it in a canister of dark fluid. Call down a backpack just like you call down and load an SSD. The probe can be destroyed pretty easily by bug melee attacks. Even after the dark fluid was loaded, it was pretty fragile. The map also had numerous spore spewers all around the edge. Because of how fragile the probe was and a lack of speaking teammates to coordinate a strategy, the mission failed. It looked like we had to do the same thing to 3 distant points on the map, a bit like how flag raising is spread out. Alright, this mission might be a bit of a worry, and the reason why I say that is because if communication is absolutely needed, some of you might not use mics or might not even communicate at all. You might just sit there and chill, which is perfectly normal. I do it myself. But when it comes down to this mission right here, it sounds like communication is a must. So what are your thoughts about this? Do you think it's going to be a difficult mission? Do you think we're going to actually enjoy it? Because I know some of you are solo players or you just play by yourself and, with random players. What are your thoughts about this? Do you think it's going to be a problem or do you think it's going to be an easy mission? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. We're now going to continue on and talk about the new mech Emancipator suit. When it comes down to this, a lot of players were just not happy about it. and neither was I. It's not a game changer, but it is cool to use. So with that being said, was it actually pre-nerfed? Personally, I do not think so, because when we have checked out the leaks prior, we do know that the Emancipator exosuit was going to be this way from the start. It's not like the developers deliberately planned this out to create some pre-nerfed. It was this way from the very first start. And I think what they're going to do here is once the next update is available, which should be next week, and we'll talk about that, this right here might be adjusted, it might be improved, and I would just give it some time to see what the developers do with this next update, because again, that is probably where you're going to see the improvements. Well, what do you guys think about it? Do you think this is actually useful? Do you think it's a bad stratagem? Let me know your thoughts down below. Moving along, we're now going to talk about the update. Is it going to be arriving this week? Is it going to be arriving at all? No, it's not going to be this week, but eventually it will be arriving. I've seen some comments where somebody was like, hey, some YouTuber said that it was going to be this week, it's coming along. Well, guess what? That YouTuber, whoever it is full of crap. The reason why I say this is because we do know that the developers have relayed information to the community manager about the whole situation behind the update. For example, right here, Twinbeard has said to this user, what we can say is that we've already stated that we want to take some more time in between the latest and the upcoming patch. This does not mean this will be the patch to rule all other patches. Basically, what I believe Twinbeard is saying here is that when it comes down to the next patch, you can expect it to be a bit more lengthier. It's going to take time for these patches to be dished out, and that's because the developers really want to tune in and focus in and figure out everything before releasing a patch that might possibly break something. So does this mean right here that we're never going to see another weekly patch? I don't think so. I'm sure we will see another weekly patch at some point, especially if it resolves a game-breaking bug. Yet on the other hand, when it comes down to these bigger patches, you can't expect them to be released monthly. And speaking of the update, I do want to give you my speculation. I do believe that the update is going to arrive next week instead of this week, because let's say that they are actually doing monthly updates. That means that there should be an update sometime next month instead of this month. If we head over towards SteamDB, we can see that the updates have mostly popped up on Tuesdays, some have popped up on Wednesdays, and rarely do you see any updates on Fridays, even though there is about maybe one or two. Also, if you heard a dog in the background, that's just what happens. Give the video a thumbs up if you like dogs. But let's continue on and talk about the SteamDB update information about Sony. Sadly, there has not been any information here that's been updated just yet, and it's starting to worry me. I'm starting to wonder whether or not there will be any changes for you guys that are in those blocked regions. It seems a bit ridiculous now that it's been about, almost a month, and there has yet to be any changes here, so it is quite odd. On a positive note, we can see that the game is continuously being updated on SteamDB, for example, on the change depots. You can see that the developers have made quite a few changes, with one of the changes being made about 1 hour ago. Now again, even if you do see this information right here, this does not mean the update is coming out next week or even this week. There's a potential chance that it could, but I have a good feeling that this week is for sure not happening. And last but not least, we're going to check out what the CEO has said about the whole review bombs and Sony and all that situation over at Nordic Game. The former CEO made a surprise appearance here, at least for us it was surprising, and this is what he had to say about the Sony issue. Our community has been an interesting bunch. Like, they started off being very, very friendly, very accepting, and very passionate. And then we taught them together to rally together and achieve great things together. And then once we had a little bit of a snafu with account linking, they all rallied and reviewed bombed us, which is an interesting turn of events. But it's, I guess, the community that you grow is the community that you get. And I love them still for it. And it is interesting to be known as one of the most downvoted games in Steam history. And Pillisted chuckled afterwards saying this. So yeah, it's not a bad thing here, but it's cool to see him that he does acknowledge it and he laughs a bit about it. And it's obviously in a sense that he's like, man, that does suck. But he is happy that we did it, essentially, at least from what it sounds like. We're now going to talk about the top 3 comments from the previous video. If you guys would like to be featured in the next video, make sure to leave a comment down below and you might just be featured. Right here at the top, we have this username, Fellowship of Gaming 847, and he says, Sony wants Helldivers to be successful as Arrowhead. Sony continues to ban 170 plus regions from purchasing the game. I smell BS. The second comment here is by stupid_gamer5852, and this person says, if they do a dog robot stratagem, they better let us pet it. And last but not least, we do have this third comment here by Judge Lazar, and this person says, the idea that Sony is going to try and force Steam/PSN account linking again is a bunk. Look what happened the first time, it almost killed the game. Do people honestly believe that Steam users are just gonna roll over and accept it if they try it a second time? Obviously, people don't pay attention to the culture of Steam users. The game will be dead permanently if they try it again. If they remove the game from Steam completely, they're lost. I'm not sacrificing the security of my Steam account for one game, and I think Sony will find that is the case for the absolute vast majority of Steam users who have more than 3 brain cells. I dare Sony to try it again, I really do. It will not end well for them. And there you go, there's your top 3 comments from the previous video. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.